Imagine a weapon so unstable, so deeply unforgiving, that it didn't kill its creators with a massive, fiery explosion. Instead, it killed them with a completely silent, invisible, and terrifying flash of blue light. When we think of nuclear weapons, we think of mushroom clouds and destroyed cities. But the most chilling story of the atomic age happened inside a quiet, isolated laboratory. Today, we are exploring the horrific true story of a 14-pound sphere of solid plutonium. A sphere so deadly that the scientists who worked with it gave it a chilling nickname, the Demon Core. To understand this nightmare, we have to go back to 1945. The Manhattan Project had successfully created the world's first nuclear weapons. 2 bombs were dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, changing human history forever. But the scientists had built a third plutonium core. It was a solid, softball-sized sphere of plutonium-gallium alloy, measuring just 3.5 inches in diameter. It was originally prepared to be dropped on Japan as the third nuclear strike. But when Japan surrendered, the war abruptly ended. The core was kept at the Los Alamos Laboratory in New Mexico for further research. The scientists needed to know exactly how far they could push this sphere before it triggered a deadly nuclear chain reaction. Famous physicist Richard Feynman had a name for these insanely dangerous experiments. He called it tickling the tail of a sleeping dragon. Because if you poke the dragon just a little too hard, it will wake up and burn you alive. The first man to wake the dragon was a brilliant 24-year-old physicist named Harry Daghlian. On the night of August 21, 1945, Daghlian broke safety protocols. He returned to the lab after dinner to tickle the dragon's tail, completely alone. Well, almost alone. The only other person in the room was a 29-year-old security guard, Private Robert J. Hemmerly, who was sitting at a desk about 10 to 12 feet away. Daghlian's experiment involved carefully building a wall of heavy tungsten carbide bricks around the plutonium sphere. Each brick reflected escaping neutrons back into the core, bringing it closer and closer to the edge of supercriticality. He carefully stacked the bricks, monitoring the clicking sound of his radiation counters. He reached out to place one final, heavy brick over the top. But as he hovered his hand over the core, his hand slipped. The heavy brick crashed directly onto the plutonium sphere. Instantly, the dragon woke up. The core went into a state of supercriticality, a self-sustaining nuclear chain reaction. A blinding flash of blue light illuminated the dark laboratory. Daghlian panicked. He desperately reached into the deadly radiation field and knocked the brick off the assembly, stopping the reaction. He noticed a strange tingling sensation in his hand. He had saved the facility, but he had sacrificed himself. In that brief fraction of a second, Daghlian received a massive, fatal dose of 200 rads of neutron radiation and 110 rads of gamma radiation. Over the next few weeks, his hands blistered, he lost his hair, and fell into a coma. He died in unimaginable agony 25 days later. The security guard, sitting just 12 feet away, received a tiny dose of only 8 rads. He survived the night and lived for another 33 years, eventually dying of leukemia at the age of 62. You would think that watching a 24-year-old colleague die a horrific death would force the scientists to stop these manual experiments. But arrogance is a dangerous thing. Exactly 9 months later, on May 21, 1946, the Demon Core claimed its next victims. 35-year-old physicist Louis Slotin was the local expert at tickling the dragon's tail. He was a cowboy of science, known for performing these dangerous tests in his trademark blue jeans and cowboy boots. Slotin was demonstrating the experiment to 7 other scientists in the room, including Alvin Graves. This time, the experiment involved placing the plutonium core inside 2 half-spheres made of beryllium. If the top hemisphere completely closed over the bottom one, the neutrons would be trapped, and the core would explode with radiation. The strict safety protocol mandated using metal shims to keep the spheres separated. But Slotin ignored the rules. He preferred his own unapproved method. He removed the safety shims and used the blade of a standard flathead screwdriver to hold the heavy beryllium dome open. The legendary physicist Enrico Fermi had previously warned Slotin about this exact trick. He told him, "If you keep doing this, you will be dead within a year." Those words were prophetic. At 3:20 p.m., the room was dead silent. Slotin was holding the dome up with the tip of his screwdriver. And then, the screwdriver slipped. The beryllium dome fell shut, perfectly sealing the core inside. Prompt criticality was achieved instantly. The room was engulfed in a terrifying, blinding glow of blue ionized air. A sudden wave of intense heat washed over the faces of the 8 men. Slotin instantly experienced a horrible sour taste in his mouth and a burning sensation in his left hand. Reacting purely on instinct, Slotin twisted his wrist and violently flipped the top shell onto the floor, stopping the reaction. The entire event lasted less than half a second, but the damage was done. Knowing his fate, Slotin ordered his terrified colleagues not to move. He told them to mark their exact positions on the floor with chalk so they could calculate the exact radiation dose everyone received. Slotin had absorbed a monstrous, absolutely lethal dose of 1,000 rads of neutron radiation in less than a second. Because he was leaning directly over the core, his own body had acted as a physical shield, absorbing the majority of the deadly radiation and saving the lives of the 7 men standing behind him. Slotin's body began to break down immediately. He suffered a 3-dimensional sunburn that destroyed his internal organs. His parents were flown in by the army to say goodbye. 9 days after the screwdriver slipped, Louis Slotin slipped into a coma and died. His colleague, Alvin Graves, who was standing closest to him, developed acute radiation sickness and suffered from vision problems, but survived. After 2 fatal accidents with the exact same piece of metal, the Los Alamos Laboratory finally woke up. The sphere was officially branded the Demon Core. The military immediately banned all hands-on criticality experiments. From that day forward, scientists were strictly forbidden from touching nuclear cores. They were forced to use remote-controlled machines, operating the experiments from a bunker a quarter of a mile away. But what happened to the cursed sphere itself? Did they drop it in the ocean? Did they lock it in a vault? Rumors claimed it was blown up during the Operation Crossroads nuclear tests in the Pacific. But the truth is much less dramatic, yet somehow more chilling. In the summer of 1946, the Demon Core was quietly melted down. Its radioactive material was recycled and secretly integrated back into the United States nuclear weapons stockpile. The Demon Core didn't vanish. Its atoms are still out there.